I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Tyler Shore, in once again for Dave Palumbo, and let's get right into the latest bodybuilding stuff. Right now, I think we're a little less than 3 weeks away from kicking off the Arnold South America, which is starting to shape up to be a good lineup on paper in the Men's Open, where we're going to see Amir Omarajik make his season debut. Amir managed to keep a low profile for the better part of the off-season, but if you're checking out this update that he posted a few days ago, one of the things that jumps out to you immediately is how insanely big he looks. And that's usually a pretty good indicator that someone did their due diligence during their downtime. That's a lot of D's. And given that he placed 5th here last year in a lineup that turned out to be surprisingly deep, you'd imagine that at the very least, he has a puncher's chance to up that number by a spot or two on the scorecards if his conditioning is on point. Now, with all due respect to Amir and whoever else winds up being on this roster, all roads to the top here look like they're going to run through Behrouz Tabani, which isn't exactly a walk in the park. Behrouz was one of the first athletes we highlighted to throw his name into this show, and even then, which was probably about 2 or 3 months ago at this point, he seemed like the obvious choice on paper given his recent track record. This guy is a really complete bodybuilder who just hasn't had a ton of exposure, but if he wins here, and if it's convincing, that whole lack of exposure will become a thing of the past pretty quickly, because he'll end up being on everyone's radar from here on out. It's hard to believe that it's about to be April already, which means that we're not too far away from getting into the heart of the 2023 contest season. And it also means that we're not too far away from seeing Carlos Thomas finally make his IFBB debut. A few days ago, Carlos' team finally broke the silence on when he was going to make his pro debut, which now looks like it's slated to be at next month's New York Pro. Now, despite their big announcement, the one thing that we still haven't seen or heard from Carlos is a peek behind the curtain at his physique, because we haven't really had a real look at him on a bodybuilding stage since he won his pro card back at the 2021 NPC Nationals. As we all know, the New York Pro always ends up being one of the biggest contests of the season. So if he shows that he can hold his own there, it definitely bodes well for whatever's up next for him down the road. And last but not least today, we have a new guest posing clip from Nick Walker, which for some reason seemed to generate a lot of attention after it surfaced earlier this week. Now on one hand, we have the internet, which never ceases to amaze me with how negative it can be, and you have people lining up to crush Nick with the way he looked for one reason or another. And on the other hand, we have Tamir El-Gwindi, who just so happens to be one of the most respected judges in the IFBB, saying that he believes Nick can win the Mr. O this year if he makes the right adjustments. So we really are looking at a full spectrum of opinions here. Regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, you can't deny that this guy is one of the biggest freaks in bodybuilding. Even I know that. And that he's had more success over the last 3 years than 99% of guys who ever turn pro, which means that he's obviously doing something right, despite what some people in the comments might lead you to believe. For better or worse, Nick seems to be one of the most polarizing guys in the sport right now, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. And that'll do it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Tyler Shore, once again in for Dave Palumbo. I'm gonna see y'all next time.